Wait till he gets this second question. I'll stun him. He'll probably be tongue-tied, if there's such a thing for a man like this to be. At 68 years old, you've already got it made. Your houses and cars and everything's paid for. You don't owe anybody anything but the hard time that you're giving them. Make sure the wolf's looking at you, T. I have my buddy here. I want to ask you, 68 years old, what makes you tick? Why do you continue to do this? But most of all, where do you get all this high energy to do these things, travel to all these places, and then, with your wife letting you loaf with her, being together so long? How do you do it, Tito? America wants to know. International community wants to know. Tito? So the reason why at 68 I keep working, it's a way of life with me. Is if you work for yourself and you love what you're doing, it's not actually work. It's a task, but it's not a work. I like to think hard and come up with answers. I create companies. I can sit down, listen to your thoughts, design a company, tell you how to run it, and give you the great pleasure of paying me. And then if you hire me back or one of my companies or send one of my associates, we can help you make it successful working for yourself. That's what I did. Now, as far as energy, when I was a kid, and I told you, being the middle kid of a family is no fun. I had a morning paper route, an evening paper route. I would cut your grass, mow your lawn, shovel your walk, go to school for you. I always had money. I figured if I created something that was needed, people would enjoy what I was doing. It was never for money. The reason why I did it is because I believed in it wholeheartedly, and I figured if I did it right, the money would come. But I never do anything for money, although I have nothing against living comfortable. At this age, I am what I am at 68. I'll die doing a deal, because working for myself, getting up when I want, going to bed when I want. I don't want to go to bed, I'll stay up until the next morning and go, because I have nowhere to be if I don't have an appointment, and I'm writing articles, or I'm filming TV programs, or talking on the radio, or calling my friends back east, or talking to my friends in California. At 68, I feel great, because my wife and I have a little me time, us time. The kids are grown all my life. I waited for my two daughters to grow up and get out while and attack the world while they still knew everything. The happiest people are people who work for themselves, and you'll find out that you'll spend more hours than the average employee. I was working 16 to 18 hours a day with my partner, Dick Marati, building our businesses. We started out with a few corporations and ended up with like 15. We're in the history books because we invented hotlines. Before us, there would be a man or a woman who would call their local radio station on the weekend and say, would you play Elvis Presley's All Shook Up for Sam and Arnetta? Well, what we would do is we came out with Wine and Dine Hotline and the Wine and Dine Entertainment Guide. You could pick up the phone 24 hours a day and say, I'm hungry, I'm going to Oakland, or I'm going downtown, where can I eat? And we'd recommend, our live operators would recommend you to a restaurant, a wine, dining, entertainment place, or a club lounge, or what have you. They had the menu there on file. We could tell you what type of food we had, the average cost of their meals, directions to and from, and so on and so forth. If you came out of a bar late and you drunk too much and a little tipsy, you could call Wine and Dine Hotline and say, what area are you in? I'm in Oakland. Oakland and Pittsburgh is a nice college area, and they have all type of food. And they'd say, well, the original hot dog shop is open, or Gino and Pete's Pizzeria up on Craig Street. They're about a couple blocks to you. You can walk up there, buy something to eat, drink coffee, and sober up. We had the dollar score hotline. On the weekend, to make it popular, we put the bookie odds on from Vegas, so sports enthusiasts could call it, and also gamblers could call it. And we updated it all the time, and we had Dollar Score magazine. We put in all the sports businesses, like we put Wine and Dine Entertainment Guy in all the food businesses. Then we had Fashion Finder magazine. We gave 2 elegant fashion shows a year. of our own models, men and women who had never modeled, always had that dream. We trained them how to walk on stage, dressed them in clothes from our advertisers. We held spring and fall fashion shows, but we also put out Fashion Finder magazine that was put in all the fashion industries, stores. Then we had the American Music Exchange. That's when an entertainer, and believe me, musicians are a pain in the rump, but since I'm an entertainer, I'm sure people know what I mean. And they would pay $20 a year and be a member. They could put ads in there for a guitar player or so on and so forth. If you were a business, you paid the regular price. We charged $120 to go in our magazine for a year, and you got one free 8-page ad that would usually charge $120 for. You got listed in 12 issues, whether it was wine and dine, music market, fashion, or sports, or any of that, and you'd have your money back. People could find out about you without breaking your budget. Then we came out, we had to be classy with those. So then we came out with the Pittsburgh Town Crier, and that's when we say, oh, your mother wears combat boots or something, or let me tell you what this business is doing to somebody, or politics, or current events, and so on and so forth. And that went in all businesses. So we tied the media up. Then we took our money and advertised on every type of radio program, from the straightest KDKA or WWSW or Weep and Wixie Country, where we'd go to Whammo, which was the African American disco, or soul, depending what decade it was in, or we'd go to the jazz or the symphonies, or we were everywhere atmosphere was. And then we started advertising for all our businesses, and then we said, well, let's take it another step. Let's give our advertisers an excellent chance to also do additional advertising. So I would take 3 businesses. Say a spot cost me $100, but that same spot for, let's say, half a minute would cost them $100. Well, we'd take 4 people, split it in half, $25 each, and put them in our ads. Main Performance Magazine, or the Wine and Dine Hotline, or Dollar Score Hotline and Dollar Score Magazine, Fashion Finder Magazine, the Fashion Finder shows, Music Market Magazine, Entertainment Showcase Magazine, the Pittsburgh Town Crier presents. And each on the different ads, we'd naturally have them separated, so the food would bring you food, the sports would bring you sports, and so on and so forth. And we could put them on radio and television cheaper than a radio or television station could do, and they became angry with us, but we paid them so much money, you know what they could do with their anger, but we let them have their anger, and we helped the little people make it. We put people everywhere. Then we got into bus billboards. I had one of my stockholders said I was 50 or 100 miles out of town, and I thought I was away from you and our business, and I'm sitting at a red light, and I happen to look up the back of the bus, and it says, Main Performance Advertising Company presents Brill's Jewelry, or Carbone's Restaurant in Crabtree, and so on and so forth. So we totally dominated the market. Then we got into barter and trade. So we tell people, if you pay me $100 a month, take a $200 ad, or $1,000 a month, take a $2,000. I can't afford it, Tito. And I say, yes, you can, because I'll take the other half in trade. So then I ended up with $1 million in trade. And if I said, give me chump change, well, the money to the establishment wasn't chump change to us, it was chump change to their budget. And then I could send people out, they could win meals that go everywhere. You could win $1,000 down on a fur coat. When they came to our fashion shows, we would have them in the Grand Ballroom at the Sheraton Hotel, or out in Monroeville at the William Penn, or we'd have it on the Gateway Party Liner or the Clipper, and it would sail up and down the river, because Pittsburgh was where Three Rivers meets. That's when you see the Pirates and Steelers and so on and so forth. And we have a lot of rivers that all dump into the Ohio River. But anyhow, you could pay $15 or $20 for a ticket to go to a fashion show. You get a 3-hour riverboat ride. We would feed you. We use Wilson's catering service, and usually his food would cost you $50 a person, but we traded him. He needed carpeting. It's $6,000 worth of carpeting. So we told him if he pays the taxes and to have it shipped from New Mexico or someplace, we would give him the $6,000 carpeting if he would give us $6,000 worth of catering. Then we'd put it on the boat, and he would let us advertise it after a while because people would come up, hey, I paid $15, $20 for a fashion show, and I got your $50 meal. How come I have to pay this more when I cater? No one could beat us. Rich Marotti and I were ahead of our time. If we'd had the internet, we'd be trillionaires. We did things people didn't even dream of. I had a ticker tape in our private office. We had office suites in the bank tower and also investment buildings. I was the king of barter. I made barter in the 60s and the 70s popular. Up until then, mostly big businesses or countries. If America wants vodka from Russia, we'd trade them potatoes. But if China had rice, then maybe we had enough vodka, so Russia would trade China the vodka, China would trade us the rice, and we would trade Russia the potatoes. That's called counter trading. Now, I went to 5 colleges, and the only thing I learned in college was from the people I was there. So it wasn't that good for me. But all the different people from all wakes of lives and every race, color, creed, ethnic group, nationality, religion, and wealth/money position, learning how they thought, taught me more than any books. I learned a lot in this high energy because I had restless energy. It kept me going when other people, a lot of times I wouldn't go with my friends riding bikes, although I've ridden bikes a lot. I like being with different people. So I was with every race, color, creed, ethnic group, nationality, religion, and wealth/money position. And I learned about all that. When I would go down the street to Cicconelli's Italian store, there'd be an Italian outside, an African-American outside, Lebanese outside, a Jew outside, and they'd be discussing and arguing back and forth, having a ball like men do. And I would just listen. They'd let me sit there and listen because they said, here's a smart kid. The first thing I learned was shut my big mouth because I wasn't going to teach them very much. And like I said, you have to live many years to learn common sense. But when it comes to age and it comes to energy, well, I don't feel like I'm any older.